Hi, folks, and welcome back to the Star Wars Library, where Star Wars is in print. And today we are finishing the Thrawn trilogy. Finally, we are on the last novel that came out in 1993, and it is entitled The Last Command. And this is the book right here, The Last Command. The title is a reference to Palpatine's final command to Mara Jade, which is, "You will kill Luke Skywalker." So there was a comic book adaptation of this novel, actually, just like there were with the other two. I've said that I don't have the comic adaptation of the other two. But what's kind of interesting is just a fun bit of trivia for you. The cover actually shows Padme in like a painting of Padme in Leia's apartment on Coruscant. They had known that Natalie, because this was done years after the trilogy had come out in the 90s, and they had known that, but before The Phantom Menace, they knew that Natalie Portman had been cast as Luke and Leia's mother. So they and they knew that she was a royalty of somewhat, so they kind of were able to kind of make it work and put that picture of her a couple of years or so before the movie came out, which is kind of cool. But obviously in this novel, Leia's pregnancy concludes, and she gives birth to Jason and Jaina Solo, who become major players later on in the Star Wars continuity, and became two of my favorite characters in all of Star Wars. In fact, I've said this before, my son is named Jason after Jason Solo. So they are huge players, and I can't wait to talk about their further adventures. But, so Jason and Jaina Solo have finally entered into the picture. So the final battle against Thrawn starts as basically two major battles. It's similar to Return of the Jedi, so it's kind of nice. It kind of follows the same, ebb and flow of the original trilogy. It starts as two battles, but then becomes three. So you have the Battle of Space, then you have the Battle in Wayland, and then Luke and Mara ultimately break off and fight the mad clone Drua Sabayoth. And Leia gets the Nogri to join the New Republic, and they betray the Empire. Now Rooks, who's the Nogre's leader, he's actually the one that kills Thrawn. Thrawn is his master tactician, but he didn't know that the Nogre had this whole connection with Darth Vader, and that could be used to turn against him. And so he's ordering battle, and he's stabbed while he's in his chair. And it's so great, because I think it's like Paleon turns around, and he's like, "Oh my gosh!" And Thrawn's like, "But it was beautifully done," and then dies. I love it. Even when Thrawn is dying, he is still like, "But this was still he appreciates the art of it," and that is, to me, I think that's so cool. And I love, one of the reasons why we all love the character, right? So it's a cool moment. So the third thing, obviously, like in Return of the Jedi, we get a lightsaber duel, and it's a great duel. It's Drua Sabayoth and a clone of Luke Skywalker, like we talked about in the past, to differentiate the clone Luke from the real Luke. In print, they put a extra U or an extra vowel. So Jeruus is his, the real one's name is Juris Sabayoth. Now it's Jeruus. So Luke is Lauk Skywalker. Luke duels the clone, and Mara ultimately kills the clone. So it's kind of her way out of the last command. It's kind of a loophole. She is then kind of free of the mental torture, because she technically did kill Luke, just not the regular Luke. She killed Lauk. So what's interesting about the last command is that, if you'll see here, obviously Lauk is wielding a blue lightsaber. It's kind of interesting how his existence kind of came into being. Now, in the expanded universe and Legends, this is kind of how they always did it. They would always kind of take an element, like a character, an event, or an item, and kind of try to turn that into a story and be like, what can we do with that? And so this story actually starts with Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber. Starts with this lightsaber. Obviously, Anakin uses this saber in Revenge of the Sith, and then loses it to Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan gives it to Luke. Luke loses it in The Empire Strikes Back. And there's a short story that we may or may not talk about. It's in um, a Galaxy magazine. Basically, Vader, before he leaves Cloud City, recovers the hand and the lightsaber and turns it over to the Emperor. And it's called the Emperor's Trophy. And basically, it's stored there on Wayland. And then when Sabayoth gets there, the clone of Sabayoth, he gets the hand, which he uses to clone Luke, and then he arms him with Luke's original lightsaber, Anakin's. So Mara is actually able to end the clone with this lightsaber, which is pretty cool. So, like I said, it's a great duel. So in the end, Sabayoth is defeated. He's killed, and Mara is brought into the New Republic. In the Star Wars continuity to follow, she will temporarily apprentice herself to Kyle Katarn, unofficially, because they hadn't joined Luke's New Order yet. But as a gift, Luke gives Mara Anakin's lightsaber. And so it is kind of cool to see a film character hand down, I mean, the first lightsaber we ever see on screen ever to an expanded universe character. And so Mara she'll use Anakin's saber, but for the most part, she'll kind of use like her purple lightsaber. We'll see a lot, obviously, in the Mysteries of Sith video game. She'll use that. She'll use, that, but we primarily don't see her utilize Anakin's until around the New Jedi Order. And then, most famously, she uses this in her final duel with Jacen Solo, who is about to officially become Darth Caedus. And I think in the lore, too, once Jacen takes out Mara, Luke retires the lightsaber in the Jedi Temple. So, anyways, cool lore piece there. But, Last Command, is this book an essential read? Yes. Yes, it is. This obviously ends the whole thing, but it sets up so much that is to come in the expanded universe, especially in the post-Return of the Jedi era. This is a must-read for any Star Wars fan, just like the other two. For me, I've said that Dark Force Rising is my favorite. This one is probably my second favorite, and then Heir is my least favorite. I still love them, but this one is very good. The Thrawn trilogy as a whole, I think, is really good, and it really did revitalize people's interest in Star Wars. It really kind of helped bring Star Wars back into the limelight, and it's why we have the expanded universe. It's why we have the prequels. It really helped bring people back into it. So it is important. Now, these days, I think it's a tad overrated or overpraised just because people will say how amazing this is. For me, I personally don't believe that. There's a lot of things in here that people who claim that they don't like the EU and they list off things that they don't like, a lot of it originated in the Thrawn trilogy. But, it is what it is. They're still great books, and I still encourage a lot of people to say, where do I start in the EU? Start with this trilogy, and if you want to get into it. And it's a great starting ground because it's going to set so much stuff up for later. But anyways, folks, Thrawn trilogy, amazing read. Go read it. Last Command, amazing. So, folks, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time as we venture to the next piece of media in our coverage of the Star Wars Expanded Universe.